Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
You're listening to Believe You Me with Michael the Count Bisping.
You know my name yet?
And Anthony Lionheart Smith.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Believe You Me podcast. And not only is the podcast back, Anthony Smith, Lionheart, is back. Anthony, UFC 303, didn't go your way. Let's just start the show with this. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm uninjured. You know, just the regular bumps and bruises that happen in a fight. But no injury. So I got back, you know, relatively quickly. I went and moved around a little bit on Sunday and we're back at it. But physically, nice. I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean,
a little heartbroken.
That's the main thing. You know, you're not in hospital. There's no need for surgery. You know, you're still an ugly bastard. You know, just like me.
That's for sure. I can't fix that.
Nothing's changed there. But that is kind of the right attitude. Of course, you're bummed out. You know what I mean? You rolled the dice. You dared to be great. It didn't work out, and you lost the fight. You lost a mixed martial arts competition. You know, when you look at it like that, it's not the end of the world. Definitely things to address and work on and stuff like that. And in terms of career trajectory, I'm not saying anything you don't know. It's probably not the best in that regard. But as I was saying on the show last week, when you look at it through the lens of being a provider and a family man, first and foremost, that's why we do this. From that regard, you smashed it out the park, and I understand why you did it. But in terms of the fight, yeah, I mean, listen, it wasn't your best night. Let's just say it like that.
Yeah, I mean, financially and doing what I do for my family, that's a home run. Doesn't make me feel any better about it inside. There was just so much happening. Like, I felt really good about the Oldberg matchup. I really liked that one. And then I wake up, in Denver, at like 4 a.m. or something, my phone's going off that there's a different opponent or that Oldberg is out. And I thought that just meant, well, okay, I guess I'm going home. Like, whatever. We were here, we were ready, and I'm going home. And then a couple hours later, then it's, we'd like you to fight Diaz. And if I'm just being very candid with you, I didn't like the matchup. But that's just not who I am. Like, I don't, that's the fight they came with. It's not what I said. Like, there was almost a moment where I was kind of like, what the f- am I doing here? Like, like, not so much like me, but like, why am I even in this position right now? Like, I came here to fill in for Jamal in a matchup that I really liked and that I was very familiar with because of me training with Jamal and helping him out. So it didn't feel new, but then all of a sudden it's Diaz, who I got a lot of respect for. You can go back and see all the analyst jobs that I did that he fought on. I have been very high on Diaz for a long time. It's just it's a stylistic nightmare for me. It's a shorter, stocky grappler with good striking. Like, those guys have always kind of been my kryptonite, where, those double threat guys. So, yeah, it sucked. I just, I felt good in there too. Like, of course there was a little bit of the leg kick problem, but I thought I dealt with that better than I've dealt with it in the past. I definitely checked way more than I took, which is new for me. I don't know, it was short notice and I just didn't feel super comfortable the whole time in there. But in terms of the fight, like, I felt like my vision was there. I didn't take any real big shots, a little bit in the second when he kind of swarmed me, when our feet got tangled up and I went down and fell. But I felt like especially with a high level grappler like him, I thought I did a good job staying safe and working my way back to my feet. It took longer than I would have liked, but with a guy at his level of grappling, it's going to take longer than you want it to. Yeah, it was, I don't know. I was just a little bit off, like, not even off. I mean, he did a great job. I thought it was, I haven't rewatched it. It felt like it was close, but I haven't watched it back. So maybe that's not what it looked like. Yeah,
well, I'm never in a rush to rush back and watch the ones that I lost. Yeah. The ones I win, The ones that are going to quick.
I'm watching the locker room.
I'm watching that shit straight away. Right. So listen, in the comment section, people are going to say this. So I'm going to say it to give you a chance to respond. Not that I'm trying to ambush you or anything, but people would say, well, hold on a minute. Dalize also took it on even shorter notice. That's what you know what that's what people are going to say. So I've got to kind of say it. From my perspective, Anthony, the cardio. So the issue was the cardio. You know,
I was tired in the third for sure.
You got really tired, man. You got really tired, you know. Right. So I know you were saying off air just a second ago, you were worried about the implications and stuff like that. You're still 35. You've still got some time left in this sport. You've just got to really, pick up the cardio side of things, because once you get tired, once you're tired, you're done. It doesn't matter if you've got 10 times better skill than that guy. If you're tired, a novice is going to make you look like shit. Not that I'm calling Dalize a novice, but I'm just saying once you're tired, you're done. You're done for. So you've just, from my perspective, you've got to really, really up that side of things, because
there's just no more short notice fights. I know I said that before. I just can't fight. Like, I'm not in my early 20s anymore where I can just jump in and be in shape and be good to go. It just takes longer to get in that kind of shape that I need to be at to fight at the level I'm fighting at. And I'm not making excuses. You're right. I was tired in the third for sure. And it took longer and it was harder to get up than I expected it was going to be, which is silly because he's such a good grappler. Of course he's going to make it tough. And he did a good job of just wearing on me when we were on the fence. Like, he wasn't super focused on attacking a submission or really getting any good ground and pound. He was just being heavy and just making me work really hard to get back to my feet. And I could have just sat there and conserved that energy, but that's not me. And that's not what people want to see. I gotta try to get back to my feet, but yeah, it sucks, man. Like, career trajectory wise, I don't know, that might've put the nail in the coffin on getting a title, you know? And I don't know. There's a lot of crossroads I'm at right now. Like, I still want to fight, but I also told myself a long time ago, I'm not just fighting just to fight. So if I'm not going to be in a position to win a title, then I need to start the exit plan, which doesn't mean I'm done right now, but that
sounds like it. It sounds, I wasn't going to say this, but just the fact that you just said right there, you know, I'm not saying I'm done and all the rest of it. That sounds like it, because if your heart's not in it 100%, if you're not, you know, the fact that you're even got to question whether or not your heart's fully in it is like a red flag.
It's and I agree with you 100%. The problem is I do want to fight. I love fighting. The problem I'm running into mentally is, if I'm not doing it to win a title, am I costing myself more than it's worth? That's the crossroads that I'm at. Like, it's time away from my family, and that's getting harder and harder. And that's when I knew, maybe a couple years ago, like, all right, this tunnel is closing in the near future. Like, this isn't that far away, because before it was always worth it. Like, I knew it sucked and this was terrible and I hate leaving, but like the reward is worth the sacrifice. Right. And I don't know that I feel like that so much anymore. Like, I don't know that it's worth it. If the money's great, but I got plenty of it. And I got a lot of other things I can do, you know, to make money. Yeah. And like, the time away from my family is getting hard. And
so like, and don't be offended when I say this. This is just something, when I hear people say that about the time away from the family, like, I see fighters are like, oh, and I missed a birthday and this and that. I feel like saying, shut the f up. Okay, so what, you missed a birthday? Do you know why you missed a birthday? It's because you're off trying to provide a great lifestyle. You're trying to build something, trying to build potentially generational wealth. You're trying to provide for your family first and foremost. And so what if you miss a birthday? They're not even going to remember. They're not going to give a what they're going to know is that the father was out there trying to do everything they could to provide for them. There's people that go off and in the army for 9 months at a time and don't see their children, or people that work on oil rigs and stuff like that, you know. So that's only a question that only you can answer. But when I do hear like the birthday ones, I always see fighters going, I've missed so many birthdays. Yeah, you should. It's supposed to be a sacrifice. Nothing in life is supposed to be easy. What, you want to be champion of the world, but you want your cake at the same time? There's going to be sacrifices. Again, that's not necessarily directed to you. It's when I see a lot of people say that these days.
Well, I see the same thing. Which I've done and never complained about for the last almost 18 years. This is what I've done my entire adult life. So and that's where I come to like, okay, if I'm not going to be able to get to a position to fight for a title, or it's going to take so long that I'm going to physically regress further than it's possible to get there, then is it worth it? And like, I don't know the answer to that right now, but I do know that like, I still want to fight. I just don't know how many are left. And if that means I have some fun ones and just do it because I love doing it with no pressure on myself and just fight my ass off and go, I don't know. I have no idea, but I'm still trying to digest it.
I'm not trying to ambush you here, Anthony, and please don't make it seem, hope it doesn't feel like that, but you said there, take some fun ones. And when we text, you said, I've got to get back to having fun. I hate that. There's not fun ones. It shouldn't be fun.
They're all fun.
It's not about having fun. It's not a fun experience when you're on the floor and Roman Delids is pounding your face in.
No.
Not a fun experience when you're going home and you're depressed and all the rest of it. It's not fun when you go home and you're black and blue and you could have surgeries in your neck or you're losing an eye. It's not a fun game. It's a very, very serious game. It's the most serious game on the planet. You know what I'm saying? It's not about having fun. Yes, the fun is great. You go out there, you win, you're victorious, you jump on top of the cage, all that. Yeah, that's fun. It's fun when you're training with your brothers and you're in the gym and you'll go off with the team. Yeah, that's fun. But there's fun elements, but it's not about having fun. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you said that, I was like, dude, it's not about fun. But my advice to you would be just take it one fight at a time, because
which is what I'm doing.
But have like a full proper camp and really dedicate yourself to being the best shape you can be. Come in with a popping six-pack, looking so people can look and visibly go, me, he's in the best shape of his life. Look at this guy. And you know mentally you've done everything. And when you do that, and if you still can't get the result you're looking for, well, at least you know you tried. Because in years to come, if you don't do that, then you'll chew yourself up at night. You'll lie there in the middle of the night and go hating yourself. But if you give it your best fucking shot, that's all you can do.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And that's hard to be, and it's hard to be mad at if you just give everything you got, and that's what it is. Then that's what it is. But I don't know. Maybe I'm using maybe I'm not using the right term to like make it make sense, because I get what you're saying with the fun thing. I'm not enjoying myself in the process anymore. Like that last Saturday, I was exactly where I wanted to be. That's the best part for me. The actual fight itself. It's not saying I'm not nervous or I don't get, anxiety or whatever, but like that part of it, I can't get enough of. I love the actual physical elements of the fight. I love how it smells. I love all of that. I'm enjoying the other bullshit around it a whole lot less. And I used to enjoy that part of it. Like I used to get up at the, 4 a.m. and get my shit ready and rush off to the airport, fly to Denver, get to the gym an hour early and just hang out on the mats and just chit chat with my bros and then get into practice. And like, now I'm watching the clock constantly. Like I'm in practice, like just staring at the clock. And I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but like the process, like fight week, I beg and barter and plead to get there as late as possible. Like I didn't get there until Wednesday night, like, because I don't want to be there. It's not that I don't want to be there for the fight. I hate the bullshit around it. I hate the media and the cameras and it all just feels so fake to me. And it used to be so real and like, this is what it is. And now it's like, I just don't want to do it. Like I want to show up Friday morning, weigh in, go to sleep, wake up Saturday and fight. Like I just want to do that part of it, but that's not how this game works.
But you don't get that part.
No,
unless you do the grind. Nobody wants to do the grind. Nobody wants to.
I used to, though. I used to.
Well, I know. And therein lies the problem, though, Anthony. And I'm not trying to turn this into a whole Joe Rogan, Brendan Sharp type speak. You're saying this stuff, and like we're having a conversation, and I've got to be honest. You don't get the adoration, you don't get the end result, you don't get the money, the paydays, the victory, the personal victory, and the fun. Because when you get that, it was all fun. It makes it great. I know what it's like when you go through a training camp. At the end of camp, you're like, I am sick of this shit. I'm so over it. But then it's worth it when you go out there and you get the victory. And one doesn't come without the other. And if you're saying that you're so burned out with it, because that's what it sounds like, the media, don't worry about that shit. Nobody wants to do the media fight. No. Right? It's just a necessary evil. You have to do it. But if you're saying that you're burned out with preparing properly and all the other discipline, sticking to a diet, not drinking alcohol, and just getting early nights, if you're burned out with that shit, then that's an issue.
Yeah, in parts is what you said is right. Like it's so like minute part of the, like, it's so specific. Like, I don't mind, like, there's always going to be days you don't feel like going. That's just part of it.
Of course.
It's not the training that I mind. It, like, I think this is going to sound crazy. For whatever reason, I've become so introverted that I don't really want to talk to anybody. Like, and it's making me a bad teammate. Like, not that I'm mean or that I beat the shit out of people or whatever. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I don't know what happened in the last couple of years, but I've just, like, this is going to sound like the most bougie shit in the world, but I have a gym here in the house, in the basement. I've never been the type of person that wants to work out at home. And then I got the sauna, and now I got the cold plunge, and then the pool. I'm just doing everything so that I don't have to leave. Like, my wife is like, what is happening here? Like, why do you keep doing
I have
this?
The same thing, to be fair.
Like,
I got the cold plunge, the sauna, the home gym, and I use that shit every day. So that's just called being sick of the bullshit and the kids in the gym and the annoying little bloody overly enthusiastic. And you're like, off.
Like, I just don't want to leave. And I'm like, I don't know why I'm like isolating myself so much. But then I go to the gym and we're training. When we're in the actual training, I'm having the time of my life. But then we got to stop, and then it's like, you got to bring everyone to the middle. And then it's like this broha session where they're like teaching the technique. Like, just, I don't want to talk. Like, let's just get to the middle, show the technique, and let's break, and then get me back where I'm having fun again. It's like the logistical bullshit, like, in between the fun parts that I'm having a hard time, like, navigating my way through mentally. And I still do it. It's not that I'm sick of it and then I don't do it. I'm still doing it. It's just, I don't know. It's the little shit that I'm just, is bothering me. And maybe it's deeper than fighting. It might just be, I need to go talk to somebody.
maybe. And by the way, I've got to be careful when I say this. I think Mark Montoya is amazing. But maybe a fresh coat of paint, maybe a new coach, a new team, not a new coach, a new team. Because if you're saying that that's getting on your nerves, and not necessarily from a personal standpoint, but you just, sometimes you need a fresh coat of paint. Sometimes you need, and again, there's nothing directed at Mark Montoya, and I'm not saying that at all, but I'm just going off what you just said there.
Right.
Maybe working with a new team to make it feel new and fresh and exciting. Maybe there's that. Maybe you can still work with Mark. You can still you work with Mark. I'm not saying abandon Mark or anything like that. I've got nothing but massive respect. I know he's a fantastic coach. But what you're saying there, because the team environment, the gym environment, never mind the team, your team Anthony, the people that you walk in and you drill with and you spar with, typically there'll be a small circle. It's always the same old guys. You bring in a few people here and there. But if that's getting on your nerves, then you need to maybe do something about that, or something more drastic, because you're not going to get you're just going to keep repeating these cycles. Yeah, you might win a couple here and there, but as you say, if you want to be a champion,
I don't want to flounder.
Grinding.
Yeah, I don't want to flounder. I don't want to flounder, and I don't want to do this. I don't want to do the next 2 years of win one, lose one, win two, lose one. I don't want to do that. Like,
but sometimes you got to do that. I did that for a period of about 3 years.
But I want it to have an end. Like, I don't want to feel like this is where I'm just going to live, because if that's what it is till the end, I don't want to do it.
I used to train Michelle Strickland. He was in the gym every day, working away, grinding. I did the same thing. Most people that were champions, they're doing the same thing. and a lot of other distractions, traveling and stuff like that. It eats away. They become distractions. That's what they called them. And it's taking away from that, because you got to be single-minded. You have to be, so, only you could answer those questions, but I would say take a fight, give yourself a full training camp and work your ass off.
For sure.
And
that's really the only option is just to
proper discipline. I know you like a cheeky drink here and there. That's got to go. You got to up the road work. You got to fucking run. You got to leave it all in the gym. So then you can leave it all in the octagon.
Right.
Because if you don't leave it in the gym, you ain't leaving shit in the octagon other than some of your own blood. You know what I'm saying?
And I ain't trying to do that. That's not the plan. No, you're 100% right. I guess gotta. Well, again, I know I said this before. Absolutely no more short notice fights for sure. And I just gotta, like, when I get a full training camp, I feel great. Like I felt great in the Petrino fight. And that's what's frustrating too. Like, then you're mad at yourself. It happened in the Khalil Roundtree fight too, where I'm halfway through the fight thinking, Jesus Christ, you're an idiot. Like, if you had a full training camp, you walk through this, dude.
Yeah, but the reason you take short notice fights is because it's easy, Anthony. It's easy. It's easy to take a short notice fight because you don't have to go through 2 months of bullshit. And it is bullshit.
It is easy.
So you go, you know what? I think I can do this. I'll take the short notice fight because I get to step in, and online you might be called a badass or whatever, but you get a win, you get a payday, you go up the ladder without that shit. And most of the time that doesn't work out. Sometimes it can, sometimes, but generally it doesn't. Otherwise, throughout the history of combat sports, people would just go, let's just do short notice fights. They don't. They do training camps.
Yeah, if it was historically successful, more people would do it.
That's not historically successful. You build to a peak. This episode is sponsored by Fitbod, and if you have Fitbod, then now you have no excuse not to get a workout in. What are the main excuses? You haven't got time. You haven't got the equipment. You can't afford it. You don't know what to do. Even if you're going to the gym all the time, maybe you're plateauing. Maybe you're getting bored. Maybe you're sick of the same old routine. Well, that's where Fitbod comes in, because it will create a personalized workout routine for you based on your goals, your fitness level, and available equipment. And the app adapts as you improve. So every workout's going to be challenging. It's going to push you to make more progress. The Fitbod app, it tracks all of your muscle recovery so you can avoid burnout, keep up your momentum. It is fine-tuned by experienced, certified personal trainers, so you get a great workout every single time. And maybe you don't have the equipment at home. Maybe you're in a hotel room. Maybe you're down the local park. Whatever it is, you just put in what you have available to you, and it will create a personalized workout for you. Also, you get to learn the movements the correct way because there's over 1,000 high-definition demonstration videos. So right there in the palm of your hand, you've got it all. You've got a workout. You've got a display. You've got a demonstration. You've got your own workout guru in your phone. Okay, so you've got no excuse now. So right now, go to fitbod.me/believe to get 25% off your subscription, or you can try the app out for free. Right, so now you definitely got no excuses. Try it out for free. Go to fitbod.me/believe, and then if you like it, you will get 25% off your subscription. Fitbod.me/believe. And look at this. Talking of peaking, Merab, brother,
look at clarity.
That is some Wi-Fi right there, brother.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm glad the internet working now, and thank you for having me, Mike. It's my pleasure.
No, it's good to have you, Merab. It really is. We were just discussing your car. What kind of car are you driving?
It's a Hyundai. Santa Fe 2000. It's a new 2023 or 24. I'm not sure.
Right. So yesterday, I'm sitting there scrolling social media, and I just keep coming across these videos of you with a fake Sean O'Malley, right? and you're in the back of a car, you're having like a party, you're doing all kinds of crazy shit. O'Malley chooses to go in like the easier elevator. Maybe Brian will edit some of these in after, but I really enjoyed them, and I thought, I've got to speak to this guy. What is going on with you and Sean O'Malley? When is the date? When is the fight? When's it happening?
I'm trying to get his attention. I know I'm fighting him. I just don't know when, and I don't have a date. I don't have a contract. I'm just keep pushing, promote this fight, and now he finally mentioned my name. He make like he tried to make fun of me 2 times, like last. He also makes some video. I was so happy to see that, because I've been chasing him since 2018. I want to fight him because I see him as a big challenge, and I think now it's the best time to fight him.
Merab, when he was over the weekend, he worked the Nick Diaz Masvidal fight on the working commentary, and they asked him a couple times about when he was going to fight and what he was looking at. And he said that he was pushing for the Sphere in September, but if not, he wanted to fight. I don't remember. Maybe he said December at the end of the year. But have you? Yeah. So are you pushing for the Sphere too, or would you be good with that date?
Yes, that would be the best to fight at the Sphere. We all know we all want to fight there, and I want to fight there too. And then you guys know I was ready 3 weeks after my fight. I cut weight again, and I was ready to fight Sean O'Malley. Chito Vera, actually, I mean, I know he's training with you guys, but if you guys see that he touched the scale with the elbow, you don't have to say anything. But I saw.
Hold on. Listen.
His elbow gate.
Yeah.
What is going on with the elbow? What are you talking about?
Okay, yeah. So we all know that when the Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera fight for the belt, Chito Vera take all his clothes off, right? That means that he was overweight, right? And he take all the clothes, and then they put a cut, whatever it is, things like UFC. He touched with the elbow. One hand was up, one hand he was touching. I have a video.
Really?
So that's how he made weight. Yes.
Oh, the style dog. Hey, listen, Merab, though. If he gets away with it, you get away with it.
Yes, he did. I don't say anything. That's why I'm like, okay, you know what? Hey. I was ready, but when I said, should I mention this? I'm like, no, it's okay. Let him fight.
That's I say congratulations, Anthony. I have no issue with that whatsoever.
Yes. I mean, yeah. Yes.
No, I absolutely love that. I hope Brian can find a video of that. Maybe sneak it in a little bit for Chito.
Yeah, I can send it. I have a link.
So, Merab, you're living in Las Vegas these days. You're from Georgia, correct?
Yes, Mike.
That is a very, very different world that you're living in these days. How do you like Las Vegas?
I love it because we all know you can have so much fun, but same time you can focus training, and same time I have my peace here because I have lots of good friends, but fighters and all guys who stay healthy. We party sometimes, but same time we training hard, we working hard, and I have lots of different training partners, and we have UFC PI here. Everything is closed. Even you guys live other states, you have to, how many times you have to come in here, right? Everybody coming here, even for vacation. I see people coming from Georgia here, from New York, and fighters coming all the time here. And it's so much easy to live here and training. And I like to, and also it's warm. And I'd rather be warm than cold.
Merab, I've never been to Georgia, and I don't know that I know anything about it. What's there to do there? What's the lifestyle like? What's a day in the life?
Hold on.
Okay.
No. Let me guess. I've never been to Georgia. I know nothing about Georgia. I'm going to say, you should guess as well, Anthony.
Okay.
A lot of horseback riding. There's a lot of horses.
Used to be, now it's today changed because today it's now because of social media, it's a nice car is more fancy. But before, when I was kid, riding horse all day, every day, all the time. Yes.
Is there lots of mountains there?
Yes, there is lots of mountains. But now, even last 20 years, lots of things change. When I was kid, I born in village, and I born in a farmer's family. And when I was 9, we moved to capital city, and Yeah, I was always wild kid. Even I was living city or something. It was bad time also, like because 1991 when I born, we had Russia had war with us, and then the country, and we was the first country who left Soviet Union, and we started growing up as a new country again. It was bad time. Everybody wants to be gangster. I was one of these guys. And then, thank God, the life change, and we have a new government, good police, and of course, now it's my country. We have lots of tourists because it's very safe for tourists and a very cool country. We are very old country, second Christian country. Like we have big history, own culture, own language, own alphabets, and the big history. We have a big culture, but we are same time we love guests. We love visitors, but we are tough people, warrior people, because we used to defend ourselves all the time because we are living next to Russia, and Russia is crazy, and we have to.
I mean, what you said there, because, we always talk, fighters, we had it hard and all the rest of it. Growing up in essentially a war zone, would that be fair to say, essentially a war zone, or right after a war in a country like Russia? I saw that video where you went back to your village and where you're from, and I saw everybody celebrating. So you come from a real small little village, and he's got a nice cheesy grin. He's frozen up.
Yeah, I think he froze.
You there, brother? It's like, but that's a perfect
I was like, damn,
time.
he loves what you're saying.
Yeah, that's a perfect time to freeze. I mean, Brian, what do you reckon? Do you reckon we just crack on, or is he taking a phone call? He's just still loving
he's gone.
the vibe of everything we were saying. He's still frozen. He needs to go around another corner. Oh God.
Hit a different gas station.
Listen, we'll leave that conversation there, Anthony. Listen, it is what it is. It was a fight at the end of the day. And you've just got to be honest with yourself. Do you still want to do this? If you do want to do it, then you got to go for it and leave no stone unturned. And you got to make sacrifices. And you got to fucking get running, bro. You got to get running. You weren't running. Don't give me that shit. You weren't running.
I don't ever run.
Yeah,
I haven't ran in years.
You got to run, bro.
I don't. As well as anybody. I don't my knees can't take it. You got brand new ones.
I don't give a. You got to run.
If I run, I can't train.
It's supposed to hurt. It's supposed to be uncomfortable.
But I do shit that's super hard. I do a lot of VersaClimber. I do a lot of bikes. Do a lot of rowers. No, I don't do a lot of elliptical.
Thank God. If you said elliptical, I was like, this podcast is over. Sitting there giving it one of these.
No, that's
cardio.
Yeah, you can't. I can't even get tired on an elliptical. But on
exercise bike, no. VersaClimber, okay.
The VersaClimber
running, bro.
I agree.
Gotta get running. Anyway, whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. It almost turned into a Joe Rogan, Brendan Job. I'm like, bro, you got a lot of things you can do, Anthony.
There's a lot of other things you can do to make money.
You're an intelligent guy. Anyway, you mentioned it there to Merab. I don't know if we're going to get him back. The talk of the village, that was too much. He said
he was like, I'm out of here. I know. I was like, wait a minute. Merab's out here gangbanging?
That's where I was going with that. I'm like, can you imagine Merab as a gangster with Sean O'Malley's jacket, walking around the mountains of Georgia, shades
horseback,
on,
horseback.
Oh, selling. Oh yeah, on horseback, selling drugs. Oh my God. Right. Saturday night we had, of course, Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal. I was there. They offered me some tickets. So that was very, very polite of the promotion. So thank you very much. 18,000 people in attendance. The Honda Center is a big old place. The crowd was phenomenal. To say that they were pro Diaz is an understatement.
Yeah.
Anytime Masvidal came on the big screen or anything like that, the boos were insane. And then when Diaz walked out, the atmosphere was electric. It was insane. It really was. So much energy from the crowd. Diaz is, I'm telling you, man, the fan base that he has is incredible. It's insane. And I'll tell you what, I got to backtrack a little bit on Nate Diaz because that fight Saturday night was fantastic. That was a brilliant fight. It electrified the audience. I don't know how it looked on TV, but in person, standing 20 feet away, for 10 rounds, they went to absolute war. Because I saw him against Jake Paul. I was like, he's done. He's done. He looks like shit. And maybe, no disrespect, Anthony, you could take a little inspiration. That's how quickly you can turn the corner. Because against Jake Paul, he looked shit. He looked awful. Against Masvidal Saturday night, he looked tremendous.
I thought he looked great versus Masvidal. I don't know that he won, but I thought that they both, honestly, I was so impressed with both of those guys. The conditioning, just the heart, and their willingness to step. They were in a phone booth for 30 minutes.
Yep.
Fighting like that is so hard. That's such a hard way to fight. Diaz took some big shots and came right back. I think versus Jake Paul, I don't know if he underestimated him or if he was injured or if he was dealing with some things. He was 22 or something, like 22 pounds heavier in the Jake Paul fight than he was in the Masvidal fight.
No, he looked like shit. He underestimated him. He didn't train.
You think that's what it was?
Well, it had to be. Or he didn't train.
Yeah, he did. No matter what it is, he definitely did train the way he did for Masvidal.
Yeah,
but for those two guys at 39 years old to go in there and fight in a phone booth at that pace for 30 minutes, I thought it was great. I thought it was action packed. It was exactly what the fans wanted to see. There was a couple boxing fights with legitimate boxers that I was like, God damn, like let's get this going. It wasn't exciting. And maybe the boxing technique was better in some of those other fights, but the excitement factor and just the action was must-see TV in the main event.
Yeah, so Diaz had the higher output. He walked into Masvidal straight away, and it was just non-stop punches. Wasn't the crispest techniques. It wasn't the best punches technically delivered or anything like that, but it was output. It was aggression. He walked him down. He caused Masvidal to be on the back foot a lot. But when I was watching it, I was there with my brother-in-law. We had a great time. And Masvidal was landing the better shots. He was landing the cleaner shots. He was ripping to the body, hard and athletic. He showed some beautiful pivoting, some excellent footwork. Whereas Diaz just walked him down and just like, a little tiny uppercuts and one after the other. It was just bloody non-stop, but he wasn't loading up. And I was like, when I was watching it, I was like, I don't know how they're going to judge this. Because for one, right in front of me, there was a bloody cameraman. So he was blocking the view most of the time. The big screen was right above my head. So I was having to look like that, which as a man with a bad neck was agony. No one's fault. But when I look at the compy stats, when you look at the punches, right? Punches thrown. Hold on.
It was a shit ton. It was like 1,400 combined punches thrown.
This is a different bloody list to the one I looked at the other day, right? Total thrown for Diaz, 740, whereas Masvidal threw 654. So there you go. It looks like he's throwing more. But I will say this, Masvidal blocked a lot of shots. A lot of those shots didn't connect. Masvidal landed 182. Diaz landed 151. So Masvidal landed more shots. I think they had better impact, but on the night when they announced Diaz, I wasn't surprised one little bit because from a distance, it's hard to tell what's landing and what's not. Well, the people that write the CompuStats number, Masvidal landed more shots, so I understand why Masvidal was a bit pissed.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things like, what do you value more? Do you value the guy that's, seemingly doubling up the volume, because that's what it looked like from the outside. You got the numbers, but it seemed like the output was way higher, and he's got the pressure on. He's kind of overwhelming. He seemed to have the momentum in his favor most of the time, because even when Masvidal would land something real big, he'd come back with, 2 shots to the head, rip the body, and come back to the head. Diaz would kind of take it and then just continue to walk him down. So although the shots seemed more impact, or they seemed heavier and crisper, they didn't seem as impactful as Diaz coming back with the this pressure and walking. So I knew it was going to be hard. The
only time somebody was rocked, I think Diaz might have been rocked once or twice. As I said, I've got tremendous respect for Diaz, so I'm not trying to shit on him because I thought he was an absolute gangster at the weekend. Speaking of gangsters, Merab Dvalishvili, how are you, brother? Listen, Merab, the Wi-Fi situation, I don't know what happened before, but you kind of froze in a big smile. You said to me, you used to be gangster. Talk to me about Merab. the gangster. If you don't mind.
I'm impressive. Good. I like the. What happened was I was mentioning I like to Vegas. I like to be hot, but I guess my phone it overheated and.
Well, you live in the desert. What do you expect?
I like it.
Yeah. So listen, Sean O'Malley. What's going to happen when you guys fight? Talk to me about that fight.
So first, this is my dream fight, and this is perfect time to fight him. And what's gonna happen is now I'm gonna show everybody my striking. You know? And I have a wrestling, but now I want to prove my striking, and I want to go punch in the face because you think I'm gonna wrestling? No, I'm gonna punch.
I don't believe you.
Thank you. I was going to say, Merab, you are full of shit.
You're full of shit. No way. Not a chance. Honestly, though, your regular game, just your normal fight style, you go out there, you put the pressure on, you're attacking the takedowns, you're just smothering people and exhausting them. That almost seems like you got the best style to beat a guy like Sean O'Malley, to really shut down that distance, his range, and kind of that sniper mentality that he has. You might be the best guy in the division to kind of shut that down. I feel like going out there and striking with him, probably not a great game plan.
Yes, technically, you're right. Stylistically, I have to beat him. Wrestling, good cardio, close the distance, and the clinch. But I still respect his striking. Aljo was supposed to beat him too, but we all see, sometimes not always best fighter wins, right? And I think I'm better guy, but I have to respect his striking. If he got me, if he land me, so and I have to respect his striking, but. I believe myself, but still, I respect my opponent, especially him. He is a champion. He has a competence. He has a reach. He has experience. He has knockout power. He has a good technique, good coach. I have to beat his coach too. That's it.
Oh, you got to beat the coach. Let me take you back. Anaheim, California, UFC 298. You're in the ring with Henry Cejudo, the king of cringe, the former Olympic wrestling gold champion. You pick him up in the air, walk across the ring, and then slam him down. How good did that feel, beating Henry Cejudo at his own game?
I was happy to beat him and win, but I have so much respect for Henry, and I don't know. Sometimes when you look your opponent lose, and you love him, you respect him as a fighter. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I wasn't too much. I don't know. It was with Jose Aldo. I love Jose Aldo when I beat him. I wasn't too much happy, but it's. I'm MMA Olympic wrestler, maybe kickboxing champion, but we are doing MMA. The MMA fighter is the best, so I'm an MMA fighter, and this is MMA, and I have a good MMA wrestling. Maybe if I'm wrestling against Henry Cejudo, of course he will beat me, but I'm confident what I'm doing, and I was happy, but same time I feel bad for Henry Cejudo.
You seem like such a thoughtful guy to even consider something like that, where you kind of feel bad for him just because of what that loss meant for him. And Jose Aldo, to be fair. What win are you most proud of? Which one would you sit back and you're just really happy with yourself?
A good question. When I beat Russian Peter Yan, because that guy is bully.
Is it because he's Russian or because he's a bully?
No, because of his Russian, no. Because politics. I don't like Russian politics, but I know everywhere is good people, bad people. I'm not saying because of Russian. Of course, he's from Russia, and Russia occupied Georgia's 20% territory, and his country is enemy to my country. You know, my country are very welcome to every country, but so I mean, so I mean, but not only that, because he's vegetarian, he's just crazy guy. You know, he's a bully. Even like I met him 5 years ago in Texas, somewhere in the hotel. He was bully. He was looking at me like he wants to kill me. I'm like, bro, what do you want from me? Like, just
Merab, I'm just texting my producer Brian. If you're listening to this, and I hope you are there, on Merab's Instagram, there's a video of you guys having a party in the car, right? There's a lot of fun going on. You're in a car filled with water. Can we just play that video? Because not only is Sean O'Malley in that car, I'm pretty sure Peter Yan is in that car as well.
yeah.
Or is that he's in the car? You're talking all this shit. Is he in the car? Was he in the car?
No, yeah, Peter, yeah.
That's Jan.
Yeah, that was Jan.
Was that a lookalike or was that him?
I think that's a mask.
Yeah, that's mask.
You little shit. I'm pulling the wool over my eyes. There's Aljo.
Whose idea was it to put the water in the car?
That was me.
Yeah, that was whose car is that?
Merab.
Okay, 4 years ago when I come to Vegas, and at that time, I had only maybe 4 or 5 fights in UFC, and I was making money, but not big money. And I buy this car, and first I rent couple times car. I was staying here 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I realized the rent was expensive. And after I buy this car, because it's a minivan, I can all my partners, all my gears, everything, the car. And after when I decide to move here, of course I change car, but I don't sell this car. I give my other friend. And so now this car is, it's still my friend.
It's the party bus. It's the party bus. Let me give you some advice. Here's what you got to say. And I'm not saying this, but you've got to say for the fight with Sean O'Malley. And I'm a big fan of Sean's, by the way. I'm a massive fan. I like him. And I think he's tremendous. You got to say, American mixed martial arts suck. Okay? Ilia Topuria, champion. Giga Chikadze is going to be a champion. Merab, you're going to go out there and smash one of the only American champs left. You got to say, listen, the sport has moved on past America, guys. Okay? You all suck. I'm going to smash Sean O'Malley, and you're running out of American champions. I'm telling you, that will hype that fight, and that will get Sean O'Malley's attention. By the way, disclaimer, not my words.
No.
He said, no, not doing that. No. He's trying to figure out how to say you, Mike.
Yeah. Just got to stir the pot a little bit. All right, Merab, go on.
So we are immigrants, but we have big heart, of course. But we move United States, and we learn good technique, and we learn good things.
Of course.
America is great.
Oh, no, it's amazing. I love living here. It's incredible. I'm just having some fun. Merab, thank you for your time, brother. When the fight gets booked, let's do this again. But thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for finding the better Wi-Fi. And thank you for the entertainment online. I'm telling you, keep those videos coming. They are funny.
Okay, we'll do. Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's my pleasure. And please, when I will get booked fight, please bring me here again. And
yes.
I'll be more than happy.
Yes, sir.
My man. Thanks, Merab. Take care. See you, buddy.
Hey, man.
The machine.
I love that guy.
You go out there, you beat Henry Cejudo. Yeah, of course you have respect, but you're allowed to enjoy the moment. You just beat Henry Cejudo. You beat him at his own game.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it would feel like knowing like you lift him up and you got this Olympic gold medalist and you're about to score 2.
Yeah, exactly.
I got training partners that are like Division I All-Americans, and I'll anytime I get a takedown on one of them, as soon as we hit the mat and I get the takedown, I'll always go 2. Just to give them a bunch of shit.
When I fought Chael, he out-grappled me in round 1. He got me down in round 2. But then in round 3, we had a scramble. I pushed him up against the fence. I pick him up. I get the takedown. I was like, let's go, baby. I got one back. All right, today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. That is professional counseling done securely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. You just fill out a brief questionnaire and then straight away you are matched with a licensed therapist. So therefore you can start dealing with your issues. Let's be honest. We've all got issues, and speaking to a therapist is the best way to try and help yourself, help your loved ones, and get onto the right path. Become a better version of yourself, for want of a better word. The problem is therapy in itself, I always say this, that can be quite an anxiety-inducing process to go through. With BetterHelp, as I say, you just fill in a brief questionnaire, you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can do it at your convenience. You just sit on your phone. If you've got half an hour free, park up in your car somewhere down a little country lane. If you want peace and quiet, go sit in your bedroom, do it while you're driving, whatever the case may be. You do it suited to your schedule, and it's the easiest, most convenient way of doing it. So whatever it is that you're struggling with, maybe it's alcohol, substance abuse, anxiety, depression, maybe you've got anger issues, who knows what it is, right? Whatever it is that you're going through, speaking to a professional, right, it is going to help out, and it's going to help you, and it's going to help your family, your loved ones, your parents, your children, okay? It's going to help you get a grip of yourself and get on the path to being the person you were always destined to be. Most people are good people, but we just have these personality flaws, these character flaws that kind of drag us down, that piss people off, and they hold you back from your true potential. So right now, take the first step to maximizing your true potential. Go to betterhelp.com/believe to get 10% off the first month. As I say, you just fill out a brief questionnaire and off you pop. Designed to be convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule. betterhelp.com/believe to get 10% off your first month. That is betterhelp.com/believe. Shout out Merab. Thank you for joining us. What were we talking about? Diaz and Masvidal. So listen, well done to Nate Diaz. I thought, because the narrative, certainly in my mind and certainly to a lot of people that I've spoken to, was kind of like, he's kind of done, he's kind of washed up. But after that performance, and yes, I understand why Masvidal was annoyed, but Diaz went for it and he fought for that victory. Yes, you can carve out an argument to why Masvidal should have won, which we kind of highlighted. But well done to Nate Diaz, and well done to Masvidal. Masvidal looked phenomenal. And I think now Nate Diaz is just, he's just giving himself a ton of options. He said it on the microphone. He wants Leon Edwards. Highly unlikely, but still, Leon might want that. Jake Paul came out, called him a hoe, called him a bitch. I don't understand. Why do you think Nate Diaz ducked? Oh, sorry, ducked. That's the wrong word. Didn't take up the offer of $15 million to fight Jake Paul in MMA?
Because I think that Nate Diaz is such a real, like he says, he refuses to fight for the PFL.
Good.
I don't think he'll fight MMA for anybody but the UFC. I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. I don't think because he still talks about wanting to come back to the UFC. Like, that's where his heart is.
Isn't that weird? As many options as he has, he wants to come back to the UFC because that's where you get paid really good, guys.
Oh, you fire your UFC shill.
It's true. It's fucking true.
That's what they're gonna say. But look at Nate. He's out here making millions of dollars boxing and still wants to come back to the UFC. Every time he talks after a fight, that's what he talks about. He wants to beat up Jake Paul and he wants to come back and fight for the UFC.
I'll tell you this. I've got to say as well. Go on.
Don't say, if that doesn't, a guy like Nate Diaz who has proven it time and time again that he's as real as they come, that he's as much a fighter's fighter. I know a lot of people hate that saying, but like when it comes to Nate Diaz, it's true. He's through and through an OG. Has all the options in the world, can do whatever he wants or nothing at all, and he still wants to come back and fight for the UFC.
Yeah. No, and I'd love to see him back. But I will say this as well. I just want to say, again, well done to both men, because you see guys step away and they want to do their own things and all the rest of it. But that was like a co-promotion, right? It was Game Bread and what's his thing called? Real One or something. Real Fights Incorporated, I think.
Yeah.
Regardless. For them to get the Honda Center as a venue in the first place, and then to pretty much sell it out for 18,000 people to show up, that is an incredible achievement. The production was fantastic. You know, it really was. It flowed along. There was a little bit of a delay in between fights. The pacing could have been a little bit quicker, for my opinion. But again, I'm splitting hairs. I'm being, you know,
that's kind of boxing.
Yeah, that kind of is. They should speed it up a bit. But all in all, the production was fantastic. And they had some very, very nice ring girls and some nice people putting on a great performance.
I wish they would have marketed it earlier a little bit better, because I didn't realize it was coming up until just a couple days before. Some of that is me kind of staying off social media a little bit, so I probably missed it. But I didn't realize it was coming up until right before, or at least hadn't thought about it. I knew it was coming up, but
no, it's because the day got changed several times.
Yeah, I remember the day got moved. So I think they could have done they would have made a lot more money had they marketed it a little bit better and been able to get a little bit more visibility on it before. But as soon as I bought it and tuned in, I'm like, you know, you buy 50, you know, you pay $50 for a product that you're not really sure about. I mean, I went through hell to try to find Chael Anderson's fight. You know, like I think I watched it on a stream from someone's cell phone in the 47th row.
Did you regret it?
No, because I feel like those are two guys that kind of deserve your attention. If they're going to fight, you should probably watch it just because they deserve it.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't mean from that perspective. I mean for like all the bloody.
Oh, it was such a pain.
You know, like all the undercard fights and everything. You're like, just give me Chael Anderson for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Poha. you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a pain. It was a pain in the ass, but it. But so I was gonna buy it no matter what, but just because it's kind of some of it's just my loyalty to you know MMA legends and the OGs. Like if they're gonna take the time to put on an event, then because of who they are and what they've done, I'm gonna buy it. But you know, you're like throw $50 at something, you don't know what it's gonna be like. Then when it started, I was like, oh shit, this is legitimate. There's some really good boxers on here. The Vargas kid, I've been hearing about him for a while. That was cool to watch him fight. He's fighting Ryan Garcia's brother. That was, you know, there's some legitimate boxing matches on there, and then some legends with Pettis and Masvidal. It was cool. I just think if you marketed that a little bit better and just had more time and not had to switch the dates and all that stuff, I think they could have probably drawn a whole lot more money on the pay-per-view side. Because it was worth it.
Cool people around the VIP area as well. You know, there was Quinton Rampage Jackson, Ryan Garcia was there.
Did you see? I guess you didn't see it, but so Rampage does a little interview. You know, during the like the pay-per-view portion starts. Yeah. They have one fight, and then that lady who's going around interviewing kind of the famous people in the crowd.
Yep.
Stops and talks to Rampage, and she says, "All right, you got anything else left to say?" He's like, "All right, don't miss it. Make sure you buy the pay-per-view." But he's like saying it on the pay-per-view portion. Anyone who's watching it has already bought the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
She goes, well, yeah, they're watching. He goes, and he, like, that's how the interview ends, because he's kind of stuck because he kind of realized he up. But it was it was like typical Rampage. It was so fun to watch.
Yeah, but knowing Rampage's personality, he probably did that on purpose.
Probably.
He does that kind of stuff. But
it was fun. It was a fun
from one boxing event to another boxing event, all the way over on the other side of the world. Brian, can we play this video? So Darren Till went up against Muti or something. I don't even know what his name is. I'm not doing the research. I saw a little bit of the build-up. Darren Till versus this guy. They were getting a little bit nasty leading up to it, talking shit. They had to be separated. And then the fight stops. And we're not going to spend too much on this, but let's have a look here.
A goddamn bomb.
Oh, that was nothing.
You're a bomb.
That was a tiny rabbit shot to the back of the head.
Look at Till, though. Look at Till physically here. That's what I took from it. This guy's a pussy. Like, this guy's a coward. But Till looked incredible physically.
Yeah. But I mean, this guy is a pussy and a coward. So this is the fight ending sequence. They're in round 2. Brian, can you show the brawl that ensued afterwards, please? So the fight ends because he can't continue, because he's hurt. So I think he thought they would probably give it a no contest. Mm-hmm. But they gave it to Darren Till, right? Because he won the first round. And then the guy attacks him after the bell. Well, a second ago, you couldn't continue, Mooty. So which one is it? Can you fight? Can you not fight? Check this out, Darren, front kick.
Oh, wow. He tagged him with that left hand, too.
Yeah.
God,
No. Keep showing it, Brian. Keep showing it. Keep showing it, please.
Man, Darren looks like a savage. Look at him.
Yeah, he needs to work on the takedown defense, though. Darren, come on.
Still can't stop a takedown. God damn it.
That's what everyone's going to be saying. They're like, yeah, Darren looked good, but he did get taken down with a single leg defense. Jesus Christ. Well done, Darren. Yeah. We'll get him on the show, maybe. We'll have a quick chat. Anthony, you going on holiday this year? Vacation?
Yeah. I'm going to the lake. I'm going to ride my razor in the mountains and hills of Wyoming. I think that's it.
I'll be going off to Maui soon. But the reason I bring this up is not so we can discuss and compare vacations and stuff.
Oh, I was about to ask you about your trip and what you were going to do. I was getting excited there.
Oh, no. Well, I went to Costa Rica, but I've been all over the bloody place. But I'm going to Manchester, come back next day, fly off to bloody Maui just for a quick week. But when I'm there, I don't expect people to give me shit and protest against me being there because I'm a tourist. The reason I bring this up is that's precisely what is going on in Barcelona. People are taking to the streets of Barcelona. Hold on, Brian. People are taking to the streets of Barcelona to protest and complain, and they're squirting water at all the tourists and stuff because they're sick of the streets being so crowded. They're sick of the property prices going up. I'm sure they don't mind the economy that they bring with them. I'm sure they don't mind the hotels being full, the restaurants being packed out every night, all the street vendors selling loads of shit, but they're not happy about this.
I wonder how the government feels about them protesting that.
Play the video, please, Bri.
Images of people protesting in Barcelona against tourists. One of the reasons why they're so upset is that they believe that there are just too many tourists, especially in the city centre, and that many parts of the city, particularly the centre, are now catering almost exclusively to tourists and not to local people. Something else that local people are upset about is the impact that tourism is having on housing. They feel that the high number of short-term tourist apartments in Barcelona is pushing up rental prices so that local people simply can't afford to live in the centre in many cases, and they're having to go out to other parts of the city to live. The mayor of Barcelona has said that in 2028 he plans to revoke all the licenses.
Wait, what licenses is he revoking?
Airbnb licenses, basically.
I mean, if you want your area to end up being a ghost town, and then you can afford to live there, but there ain't nothing else there, the tourists just find somewhere else.
Well, tourism's great for the local economy. I understand people. The Airbnb thing's kind of an issue because that pushes up local rent prices.
I get that.
That's a whole different thing. Tourism, listen, it's a thing. If you live in a beautiful place like Barcelona, I've been there. It is beautiful. If you live there, people are going to want to come and visit. I was down at Newport Beach. That's why my face is so red. I was down at Newport the other day on the beach. Absolutely packed. I wish there was no tourists, but that's just the way it goes because it's a beautiful place. As we said before, you can't have your cake and eat it. You know, you want the thrill of the victory. You got to do the shit in the training camp. If you're going to live somewhere awesome and historic like Barcelona, you might have to put up with a few people coming to visit here and there.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. I mean, I understand it, I guess, because I don't want like a whole bunch of people just moving into Omaha and, taking it over. That would suck. But it just, I don't know. It seems kind of messed up to be squirting them with squirt guns, and like people are just trying to go somewhere beautiful, spend money in your local economy. Like, what happens if there is no tourists? I wonder what the economic effect of no tourists would put on Barcelona in 5 years. Well, if
probably
they just stopped getting tourists.
Yeah, well, it'd take a big hit, but I think it would be fine because Spain is, it's got a decent economy in general. It's not like one of these Greek island towns where it's just seasonal, where a few months a year there's a massive influx of European travelers. It's not a place like that, but still, there's a massive amount of tourists. I was there last year, or was it the year before? It's awesome. Yeah, I recommend it highly. I tell you
What would you have done if they squirted you with water guns when you got there?
I would have said, thank God, because it was boiling. it's not the best form of protesting. Let's cool it. It's July. It's 31 degrees Celsius. It's about 94 here today. It's pretty hot where you are, I'm sure. Barcelona, probably very similar. You're walking around in a nice loosey-goosey shirt that's nice and free-flowing. Somebody squirts a little water good on you. You're like, muchas gracias, amigo.
Yeah, thank you. Please give me more.
yeah, you idiots. I mean, nobody wants to go somewhere and it's absolutely jam-packed, but, come on, get a grip. Get a grip. Speaking of tourism, I went out on a boat the other day. I hired a boat with the family.
Yeah. Did you fish?
I wanted to fish, but it was a yacht, not a boat. And they said rods aren't allowed. No, I know. Then we got some family over from Australia. So we'll do something nice, do something special. So we rent a nice boat for the day. And we had a lovely day. We go out on it and get some sun. We had some paddle boards and shit out in the ocean. I had a lovely day. It wasn't cheap to rent, as you can imagine. We get there, we get told, be there at the dock at 11:45. The captain will be waiting for you. He will greet you. The boat, it was like a 60-foot yacht. It was amazing online, right? I thought he's going to be standing there with his little hat on. Hello, Michael. Party of 6. Right this way, sir. Step onto the yacht. Maybe hand you a nice, refreshing cold water. Something like that, right? I'm waiting. 20 minutes pass. And I've hyped this up to the max to my brother-in-law.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, this place
show you. Yeah, just wait.
I'm like, just wait till you see this boat. It's shit hot, right? We're there. 20 minutes pass. 25 minutes pass. I'm like, where is this guy? Anyway, all of a sudden, nice big boat pulls in. Okay? Then a party of about 35 people all come off the boat, shit-faced, drunk, messy people, babies, diapers, shit just everywhere. They all walk off the boat, right? And I know for a fact already that boat is going to be a shithole. And then the guy, and I say, is this the booking for Michael? He goes, yeah, welcome aboard. I said, is the boat clean? He goes, relatively.
Relatively. That's what he said.
That was his answer. Relatively. I'm like, what do you mean? Relatively. And he goes, I don't appreciate you using bad language at me. I said, I don't appreciate renting out a dirty boat where I've just seen bloody 5,000 people walk off with babies and diapers and all the rest of it. And then he goes, well, and I went, all right, let's start again. We're going to be together for an afternoon. I said, it's not your fault. It's not your business. You don't run it. You're just the captain. I get that. I said, it's just a little frustrating. We're late. And now you're telling us the boat's relatively clean. I said, we paid for a clean boat, We walk on, there's towels everywhere. There's shit everywhere. There's like drink holders all over the place with like empty beers and cans and shit.
Jesus.
What would you have done?
I'd have been pissed. Pissed for sure. Especially because not how you expected it to be. Like you didn't expect a frat party with babies to get off of it.
They had babies.
I'd have been pissed.
So
what did you do? Just deal with it?
No, nothing. I just, with the family there and stuff, I didn't want to cause a big scene. And Rebecca's family, they're all like very calm and very chill,
Right.
Inside me, I'm like,
you're going insane.
This is bullshit. But
how often did Rebecca stare at you just waiting for you to freak the fuck out?
No, she didn't, because I handled it pretty cool. I was like, okay. I don't want to, let myself down. So I just internalized it, and we got on there. We cleaned it up. I had to clean the shit up, you know. And now they're hassling me every day for a review.
Really?
I hate how these companies do this. You pay for a service, and now they want me to go out of my time, give up my time to do a survey and leave a review. It's like, if I leave a review, bro, it's got to be a bad one.
You're not going to like it.
No.
You should tell them. You should tell them that, though, and say, listen, I'll do your review if you want, but it's not going to be great.
You ain't going to like the words that come out of my mouth.
Well, what's the name of the company? Tell us.
No, I'm not.
I'm just joking. Don't do that. I was like, don't do that.
I'm not trying to mess up people's businesses.
Right.
But if the milk turns out to be sour, I ain't the kind of pussy to drink it. All right. So Alex Pereira, we're not going to talk about, in fact, he did have a good win that night. I'm sure you'll agree.
I thought he looked great. Yeah, it was incredible. Before you go too far, Alex and I have this very cool relationship. I think it's very, very cool what we have going on. And it's, now, I lost and he won and he's the champion, whatever. Like maybe there is nothing there ever, but we're very, I think, just competitive in general. But when we're in person, I thought it was so cool how we have this, like, we have a lot of respect for each other because it's not awkward in person. It's really not. It's a head nod acknowledgement. We don't talk or shake hands or anything like that, but we have no problem standing right next to each other in the room. We did media together, not together, but like in the same areas at the same time. I think it's really cool how, although we have this competitive thing I don't want to even say that it's a negative thing, whatever it is, where we kind of go back and forth from time to time. His team has always been so cool to me before, like when it was just Glover and, I wish I could remember the guy's name, but Alex's kind of main guy. And then Glover and his wife, they've always been super cool to me. It's always been an embrace when we see each other, super respectful, little chit chat. Even when it's all of them, Glover, his wife, his coaches, and Alex together, everyone still acknowledges me. They're still super kind to me. I don't think it's unfair of me to say, to speak about him as a fighter and, then we get all this riled up nonsense. I think it would be unfair of me to not say on the flip side, how in social situations or when we're in person, how super respectful he is. And how kind his team and coaches and all those people around are. Even his kids, they had that video game where he's playing the UFC game with his kid's using me and Alex is using himself and then knocks me out. It was like on the embedded episode, really, really fun and like funny little episode. His kids were like, high five and fist bump is like kind of tongue in cheek. It was all fun. So I just want to say that it's unfair of me to only talk about him as a competitor. Everything's always cool with us in person.
Look, listen. Glover Teixeira, you guys have a good relationship, and Glover's like his coach, and not only that, he's a very close friend. He's a mentor of his as well, and so just because you're in a division, there's always going to be competitive rivalry. Most of the time, even if you're at the top of the food chain or another guy's right on the bottom, if you're, oh shit, my screensaver just went red, so my redness picked up a touch there. I've got to change that on the settings. It does it all the time. Now I have fields of red. I don't know how to change it, so my complexion has just gone up a tone. Anyway, Glover's going to tell him, no, Anthony's a good dude. It is what it is. But speaking of Pereira, Anthony Joshua, did you see this? Anthony Joshua came out, I think it was last week, and Anthony Joshua said, Alex Pereira should make his boxing debut one day. Pereira came back and he said, I'm honored that you think so. It's always been my dream. I'm 37. I cannot make a career in it. So who do you recommend I fight? Number one, it's great to see somebody like Anthony Joshua, who's definitely top of the food chain, pretty much. He's right up there. He's one of the top heavyweights, recognizing his greatness and certainly his ability. That's amazing for him to see. It's very humble of Anthony Joshua to say that as well. And great recognition for Pereira. Did you also see the video of Pereira sparring that boxer?
I did. It's been a while, right?
I think, was it Povetkin? Brian, just bring that up. It was a good sparring session. It was really good. But what do you think about that? Pereira in boxing? Hypothetically,
I think that he could be super successful. His earning ability in boxing would be huge. I think there'd be some fun fights and matchups. I mean, it wouldn't be the same as just an MMA fighter coming over to boxing. I mean, he was a striking specialist only first. So I think that's right in his wheelhouse. I think he would do well. He definitely has the power to change the game, even if, speed and a little bit of slickness that kind of comes with those high level boxers. I think he can mitigate a lot of that with his power and just kind of his aggressiveness. Honestly, his mentality really is what sets him apart from everyone else. Obviously he's got the punching power and incredible striking, but his mentality and his fight IQ. I think that's something I've never given him enough credit for. Even watching the Prohaska fight and kind of watching the warm up that kind of led to where the knockout was, how he'd seen, when they put both fighters up on the screens and they're moving around in the locker room, they show you on the broadcast before. He even picked up something he's seen that thought that he wanted to throw a switch kick at some point in time in the fight. Like, I just don't think I've given him enough credit for his fight IQ up to this point. So I think he would be just fine in one of those competitive boxing matches where he's only got two things to worry about.
Yeah, I'm just looking at something here because another one of Pereira's former opponents, who's also a big name in the world of striking, but I'm talking about kickboxing, Artem Vakitov. He's a guy that fought Pereira twice in glory and defeated him both times, I believe. And he's talking about maybe making a transition over to mixed martial arts. He said that MMA for me is always something that interested me. I'm obviously very motivated by the prospect of getting that trilogy match with Pereira. He's a superstar now, and I'm happy for him. He goes on to say, though, that Pereira's biggest weakness is that he is all attack and he has no defense. Because of his lack of defense, he's open to taking a lot of punches to the head if he faces a skilled striker. You saw that in his second fight with Adesanya. He got caught because he leaves a lot of openings for people who know what they are doing. That's great words from him to say because, of course, he has a victory over him. I think it might be 1-1, actually. Who knows? Of course he's going to say that because he's trying to replicate the path of Alex Pereira. Right. And any kickboxer on planet Earth, I'm getting redder and redder by the bloody minute. These fields are getting darker. You can't see them. It's my screensaver.
I was going to say, I can't. You look the same to me.
No, bro. It's just all red. Anyway, any kickboxer is going to want to replicate that path. I mean, Israel Adesanya did it the old school way. Izzy came over to MMA from kickboxing, got his wins, got some high-profile knockouts, talked a good game, elevated his stock, became the champion. Pereira came over, as we know, was kind of fast-tracked because of the 2 wins over Izzy. And now, if you look at him, outside of McGregor, he's the biggest star in the sport. He's making a shit ton of money, millions of dollars every time he fights. So, of course, somebody out there that's beating him in kickboxing is going to be like, bro, I want a piece of that pie as well. What do you make of that situation?
Yeah, I think anybody that's been competitive or got a win over him probably thinks, well, I could go over there and do that. I just don't think so. I think that he's very unique in what he was able to do. I don't know that it's going to be that easily replicated because he's competing in jiu-jitsu. I mean, he's way more well-rounded now than when he came in. And honestly, some of that is credit to some of the matchmaking and him being fast-tracked. He was able to win the fights doing what he does best already while kind of in silence working on the rest of his game. I think it's going to be tough. I did like how he acknowledged that he's 37 and so he couldn't make a career in it. I think that shows a lot of self-awareness. So I don't know that anyone could come over into MMA right now from kickboxing and get to him before he's potentially done. Because he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to be around for a long time.
I was just trying to change the screensaver if it seemed like I wasn't listening. I was listening. I think people underestimate because, of course, with his alignment with Glover Teixeira, he has been working on this for a long time. Is he a high-level black belt? No. Does he have enough of an understanding to be able to compete with somebody like Jan Blachowicz, who had him in a couple of situations? Of course. And for this guy, Artem Vakitov, he's going to have to do a lot of work. I'm probably pronouncing his name completely wrong.
How cool would it be to see Alex Pereira shoot a takedown, pass someone's guard, and choke him? That'd be that'd be terrifying. Because then what do you do?
I guarantee he can do that 100%. You come around and you be around mixed martial arts. He's a high-level athlete. He's had major success in other sports, kickboxing. Your brain is kind of hardwired to learn shit. So 100% he does that stuff in training all the time. He just doesn't need to do it in an MMA fight because that's not his strong suit. This guy here would have to go off Akitov and do years of training. At least 2 years.
He's too far behind.
At least 2 years of training to be able to compete, because before you get a shot against Pereira, you got to go through a few other people. Just like Pereira had Mihailidis, he had Bruno Silva, he had Sean Strickland before he got to Israel Adesanya. You know, he had some legitimate wins. So it's an interesting one, but still, I'd like to see it though. I would like to see it. Have you seen that Vakitov? Have you seen footage of him? You seen highlights?
I have. I've actually seen the highlights of him fighting Pereira.
Yeah, he's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, it's scary. You're like it's weird watching someone do to Pereira what he does to everybody else.
Yeah, no,
it was weird.
He's a scary dude. All right, this episode is sponsored by Hexclad, which is going to revolutionize the cooking experience in your kitchen, because Hexclad has changed the cookware industry with the all-in-one hybrid pan that gives you the convenience and cleanup of non-stick, the versatility of grandma's cast iron pan, and the durability of a lifetime. Yes, that is correct. This pan or the pans or the cookware has a lifetime warranty. So whatever it is that you're grilling in your backyard, or maybe you're cooking up a storm for a fancy dinner party, Hexclad has got you covered with unbeatable performance and style. And yes, this is endorsed by the great Gordon Ramsay. Okay, so you know this shit's going to be good. Hexclad pans, I'm very lucky he sent me some, and we absolutely love them in our house. First of all, no chemicals, none of the non-stick stuff. It's like the old school cast iron pan, except it's very lightweight. It looks great. It doesn't heat up. It doesn't burn your hand. The pan itself heats up very, very quickly. Super easy to clean. And Rebecca says that the food tastes even better on that. She says the more you cook on it, the tastier stuff gets. I don't know about the science behind that, but she's the one that does most of the cooking, and that's what she says. So if you go to hexclad.com/believe, you're going to support the show, but you're also going to support the cooking experience in your kitchen, and you're not going to take on all of those toxic chemicals with the non-stick pans. Trust me, you got to get rid of that, but you want to do it still with the convenience. You want to do it with a lightweight pan. You want to do it with a pan that isn't going to burn your bloody hand, and you want to do it with a pan that is endorsed by the great Gordon Ramsay. One more time for 10% off, go to hexclad.com/believe. hexclad.com/believe. Speaking of scary things, there's scary prices on a lot of designer goods these days, Anthony. And I know you like a little bit of Louis Vuitton. You like a little bit of, you like some trendy shit.
Yeah, a little bit of, more shoes, but yeah, I do.
I don't really go in for the labels. I used to like some nice shit, and I still do like nice shit. I only buy nice shit if there isn't a big logo. Can't stand the logo. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why I don't buy a lot of like super fancy designer clothes. Maybe I got a couple, I don't know, Gucci shirts or something like that, but they're real small logos. They're not like crazy flashy. I'm very similar.
The only t-shirts that I wear with the designer's name on is Helmut Lang, and not because I want to display Helmut Lang on, who's not like some big, it's not like Gucci or anything, but they're great shirts and they don't shrink and they fit well. That's the only reason I wear those. But the reason I brought this up, Harrington, he will be able to tell you more. There was a lawsuit recently in Italy, and a big fashion house, it was uncovered that they don't pay a lot of stuff. Shock horror. They don't pay a lot of money for their goods. This is going to blow your mind.
So the investigation was for a number of these fashion houses, but specifically major penalties coming against Dior when it was found out that their purse worth nearly $2,800 at retail is being made in a Chinese factory in adverse conditions for as little as $57.
Wow.
Yeah, and the adverse conditions as well. I can only imagine.
Yeah,
they are.
What does that look like?
Sweatshops with children working in them.
Yeah, with fucking kids.
Which is utterly disgusting. And listen, business is business, capitalism, good for them. You know what I mean? But $57, I guess the problem is, when you're talking about a brand like Dior, you have a reputation. You have a certain level that you hold yourself to and prices that people expect to pay. Just because they get it made for $57, that's probably because, and I'm not defending them, by the way, but that would be because they've perfected the craft of making them, of producing them and manufacturing them. They do it for so cheap because they own the factories and all the rest of it. Of course, I'm sure the conditions are terrible and that's absolutely disgusting, but they can't lower the prices just because they make it so cheap. If they lowered their prices, it would lower people's impressions of it being a luxury brand. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing.
The $57 thing doesn't bother me as much as the adverse conditions. Like if you can get someone to pay $2,800 for a $57 bag, then fucking do it. I'm all about business. Yeah, I'm all about business. I get that. But the conditions and sweatshops and kids and like whatever that means, that bothers me. If you can make it for $57 and it's respectable work conditions, and congratulations.
How would you know, Brian? Just try and Google what that means. Terrible work conditions. Chinese sweatshops. I mean, what are we talking about there? I haven't done a deep dive on any of that stuff, but I would assume it's ridiculously long hours in terrible conditions for next to no money.
Right.
And then they're selling it for $2,800 a bag. I mean, in that point there, they've got absolutely no excuse to make the working conditions a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Add to that the safety concerns with a lot of the stuff being done in those factories. So there's no a governing board that's making sure that people are wearing gloves or have eyewear on or those kind of protections that a worker has about working in conditions like that in America.
Jesus.
It takes me back to working in factories, man. Mm-hmm. You worked in factories, Anthony?
Yeah.
I used to hate it. Yeah. What's the shittest job you've had? We've probably had this conversation before.
I worked at a meatpacking plant. It was free. I don't like being cold, so it was freezing cold in there all the time because it's all raw meat. Packaging raw meat like on an assembly line. It was terrible. You just smelled like it was an overnight shift. Smelled like raw meat all the time. It was freezing. The pay was decent though, at least for the time. Like it was okay. I was doing okay.
Yeah, no, I've worked.
What about you?
Yeah, no, I've done that exact job. I've worked at a meatpacking place. Then I got upgraded to being the slaughterman. For me, do you know I don't know what you call them. You know, lampshades. Mm-hmm. Do you know lampshades that are corrugated and they're really cheaply made? Yeah. Well, if you take those off the lamp, they compress and it's just like a piece of plastic. Yeah. Right. And then the job was, you got this big massive box of these big pieces of plastic. If you pulled them apart, they were lampshades. They just needed putting in a circle. And you had to grab one, put it in machine. One lever would clamp it. The next lever would put a hole in it, pierce a hole so you could put it through. And then you just unclamped it and put it in an empty box. And you would do that all day long.
Oh my God.
And to make it even worse, you were facing a wall. There was a wall about a foot in front of you. So you just got your back to everyone all day, facing a wall, 12 hours a day, just doing that shit. Behind me, there's a big, massive factory. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a few of the boys, a few of the lads. Might have been one or two fit birds working there. They could have turned the desk round, but no, they had us facing a wall 12 hours a day, just doing that for minimum wage. Shit.
Yeah, I worked in a meter, like a factory that made like gas meters that go on like your house. And there's this one little piece, and it was a tiny little metal piece that was kind of shaped like a dog leg, but at the end it had this little kind of like spot for like a screw to like just lay on it. And then on the other side, like I had one full box, like I'd have these boxes of these metal, tiny little like inch long dog legs, and then an inch screw and then I would put the dog leg in one little template and the screw in the other template where it was just kind of overlapping it just a little bit. And then I'd have to put my fingers in these sensors, and this machine would come down really fast and solder those two things together. Then I would take that piece out. Now it's just one piece, and put it in the empty box. And then I'd go up. Same shit, 12 hours, one dog leg, one screw, fingers in the sensors, and then take it out and put it in the box. I mean, thousands of those things over and over and over. Oh my God. I just want to fucking jump off a bridge thinking about it right now.
Yeah. But times like that, and by the way, I was just trying to change this screensaver because you can't see it, but I look so red because it's just red. Anyway, I'm going to do it after. But this is why. Think back to those days, Anthony. Think back to being in that factory, busting your ass, 12-hour days, minimum wage, utter shit. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people in those situations, and you always want to better yourself in life. But it's situations like that, and I'm not making an excuse for you. But that's why when you look at it through that lens of where you used to be to where you are now, you just went out and fought. You earned hundreds of thousands of dollars. And the worst thing is, oh, shit. maybe I'm not going to be the champion. You know, when you try and look at it from that perspective, you can look at it in a positive manner. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, don't forget those days.
I had a couple of those moments. So over the 4th, I had this quick little work thing I had to do on the 4th. And so I took my family to Vegas with me on Wednesday. Like, well, I don't feel like being in Vegas by myself on the 4th of July. It's one of my favorite holidays. I'll just take the whole family. So we go. And on Thursday, that morning of, I go and get and this is not me bragging. I'm just explaining to you guys my mentality. We go and get this. We get one of those poolside cabanas at the MGM. And so I get the little cabana. There's just drinks and there's, you know, all the kids' drinks and all these food. It's just food and drinks and, you know, me, my family, and one other family from Omaha. And I remember sitting on the couch and like looking out, and my kids are just running around. They're having a blast. They're jumping in the lazy river, and like they're having the time of their life. And I was kind of just being a bum because I'm just like all in my feelings. And I was like, what? Am I allowed to be sad? Like, well, look at the life I'm living. Well, then I walk out like, all right, I'm going to go swim and just forget about all the bullshit. I'm going to swim and hang out with my kids. And some kid that worked at MGM, like it was working at the pool, comes up and says, hey, I'm a big fan. Can I get a picture? Blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah. So he pulls his phone up and he's got a video going. And I was like, hey, it's on video. Because people do that sometimes when I'm taking a picture.
I hate that.
So do I.
I hate it. I hate it.
I say, hey, no, it's a video. And he hits play. He hits start recording. And like right as I finished saying, hey, it's a video, he goes, oh, no, it's fine. I wanted a video. Chama. And like pulls me. I'm like, you
dickhead.
Asshole. So like the camera, he shuts the camera off. I was like, you're a asshole. Like I was being super kind to you. Like number one, Alex Pereira doesn't know who the you are. Number two, I'm here with my family and took time out of my day to like take a picture with you. You're a asshole. He like said something. I'm like, but don't forget where I am right now and what I'm doing, and you're at work. So off. Like I was so pissed. Pissed.
It's like when I go into some restaurants. You go into a nice restaurant, and you know the girls on the desk at the front of the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And they're normally, if you go to a nice place, it's normally attractive young girls, and they're on the front, and they're so snobby. And I'm like, you know, like not always, but a lot of the time they can be. Or like when you go into a nice clothing store, like we were talking about before.
Yeah.
And the staff, they look down their nose at you,
mm-hmm.
and they're like, you can just tell. Like maybe I don't dress to show everyone that I've got money.
Yeah,
this is a Lululemon shirt. Could it be a Gucci shirt? Oh, is it really? There you go, Lulu's. It could be a Gucci shirt very easily, but I'm not a douchebag, okay? Right. And just because I'm walking around that store doesn't mean I have no business being in there. But first and foremost, you're working here. You definitely can't afford.
You can't afford to shop here.
So stop looking at me like I'm the dickhead.
Right.
Oh dear.
That shit drives me crazy too. Because then you do go in there, and like no one will help you because they're like, oh, he's not buying anything.
Yeah.
Like I got a black eye. I'm like wearing gym shorts and tennis shoes, and like oh, he's not buying anything. Like yeah. I was going to.
The black eye, though. The black eye's fair enough. I remember after I fought Anderson Silva, we went to Rome, and after the fight, because he got me with a good knee and he opened up all kinds of cuts and stuff, I had like about 20 stitches in my face and a big old china and scratches and shit. My face was a mess. And we went to this beautiful hotel in Rome, and we're going to nice places. You know, we're doing the touristy stuff and sitting for nice lunches and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I look like a thug of the highest degree. Do you know what I mean? And everywhere I went, every time I sat down and every time a waiter would come over, I would always say, you know, I think it's MMA is getting more popular in Italy now, but I wasn't sure in 2016 if they gave a fuck, so I had to explain. I'm like, just so you know, I'm a professional fighter. I had a fight at the weekend. And my wife was like, you don't have to explain anything. I'm like, I don't know, babe. I kind of do. Know. If we're going to get thrown out of this restaurant in a minute. Anyway, it could have been worse, Anthony.
It could have been.
You know, because you could have been punched in the face, been unconscious whilst being in Poland, and then get kicked in the face. Did you see this clip? Brian, roll this one. Where is this? Number 8 in the notes.
Oh, no. Shit. Woo.
Check this out. Right
Look
hand.
at that. Look at that right hand came from nowhere. Oh my gosh.
The kick just propels him through the air. One more time, Brian. One more time, just because he deserves it. The poor guy. Boom. Oh. Let me ask you this. Was that an illegal knee? Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I don't think so. They probably allow head kicks, soccer stomps, like some organizations do. You know what I mean? It could be worse, Anthony. You could be that guy.
It could be that. And I'm not that guy.
You could be that guy. Okay, let's have a look. What else have we got? Not much. Stipe says he's not holding up the division. Should we talk about this real quick? Harrington, explain yourself. You put this in the notes. I did see this. To be honest, this is the way that Harrington puts it in the notes. Harrington puts it here. Stipe says he's not holding up the division, and anyone who says he is should stop crying. I saw this. I didn't think there was anything confrontational, but the way that Harrington puts it in the notes is like Stipe's being a dick.
I mean, look, can we let Stipe speak for himself and tell me if I'm wrong?
Okay.
Than John's and Tom's has been with each other, but like objectively, how do you feel? How would you feel if you were in his shoes? You're the interim champ, and it seems like you're kind of just stuck waiting.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and I mean, I feel the same way, but I'm not taking anything away from him. Like the UFC can do what they want. I'm not. It is what it is. And there's only one guy I want to fight, is John Jones, but at the same time, the UFC can pick who they want to fight. And people don't know this. Like, there's a couple of times where they had, like, I was ready to fight him, and they gave it to another guy. So I mean, what am I supposed to do? You know? But I'm not holding up any division like everyone says. Like, I don't care. Like, do what you want and stop crying. I'm not saying he's crying. I'm just saying, like, other, like, fans and stuff like that.
I'll be honest, just because I feel bad for Tom, I've been crying a little bit. So.
Okay, fair enough.
He did kind of say like that, to be fair. That is not the one that I saw. Again, I'm trying to change this home screen. Brian, is it a home screen that I need to change? Because it says it's the home screen. But anyway, whatever. Home screen, screensaver. Are you good with computers?
No, I'm computer illiterate.
Real life. Anyway, Stipe, what do you think about that?
I mean, I kind of go back to the same thing that I said about Tom when Tom was getting upset about the John and Stipe thing. Like, that was kind of the deal. So everyone always gets mad when the UFC switches up things and they change it and they don't stick to a plan. This has always been the plan. I don't think he's holding up the division because Tom's fighting in Manchester and fighting Curtis Blades and defending the interim title. Stipe would fight if John was ready. So if anybody's holding it up, it's John, and that's inadvertent. I mean, he's injured. You got to. Again, you know, me and John aren't the best of friends, but like the dude doesn't pull out of fights. He's not like injured a bunch. He I don't know. And he didn't hold up any division. He gave up the title when he wanted to sit out. So, I mean, the guy's injured. Like, I just kind of feel like give the dude a break.
Yeah, no, 100%. The division isn't being held up. It's the fight, as you just said, that's always been said. Tom, it's created excitement, let's be honest. They've now got an interim champ. Now there's excitement. Now there's narrative. Now there's all this discussion of who's the real champ. That just makes it excitement. That brings more eyeballs. That brings more energy. That brings more money. That brings more interest, hype, whatever word you want to use. Now there's John Jones as the champ, and there's, like, even my hand is red. Look, see the red that's on my hand? It doesn't matter. There's John Jones as the champ. There's Tom Aspinall as the interim champ. And if and when they meet, that's only just going to make it way, way bigger. And then also from Tom Aspinall's side, if they hadn't have done an interim championship, Tom would still just be fighting any old fight.
He probably would have fought Pavlovich and Blades anyways.
Correct. But now he's the interim champion. And
he's getting paid way more money.
He's getting paid more money. And he'll be getting paid pay-per-view points.
Right.
This is a perfect situation. They could have done Tom versus Pavlovich just as a regular heavyweight fight because it wasn't even the main event. Pereira and Yuri was the main event. So, you know, Tom isn't complaining about it. I don't think Tom's crying about it. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago on the podcast. Tom's very matter-of-fact about it. He's like, it is what it is. So what? I'm just training. I'm fighting. What do you think about that fight with him and Curtis Blades? Because I'm commentating it. So
I'll be there for a couple of days. I won't be there for the fight, but I'll be there for a couple of days.
What are you doing in England? We spoke about this before. What are you doing there?
I'm just doing like some ESPN stuff.
Oh, okay.
But that weekend is my birthday, so I'd already taken it off.
What day do you get in?
Monday. So I'm there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I leave Thursday. Actually, you know the little tattoo, the tattoo feature I'm doing? I'm doing one of those with Tom.
Oh, very good, very good.
Yeah,
go on. You were saying about Curtis.
I like the fight. I think it's definitely going to be like now that we're going to get it completely this time instead of kind of the abbreviated version we got the last time. I think it's going to be one of Tom's toughest tests. I think you got a full mixed martial artist in Curtis Blades. He's going to be hard to take down. I think Tom always has that kind of check down where if it isn't going at how he wants on his feet, he could always shoot a takedown and dominate there. It's going to be harder with Blades. Not impossible, because we've seen Jailton Almeida take him down repeatedly. So it's definitely possible that Tom can go in there and get a takedown if he wants to. I think I like the matchup. I like the size of these two guys. They're both really big, strong, athletic heavyweights that move well and move like they're lighter than they are. I like that because whether it's John or Stipe or neither, whoever, say John beats Stipe, he's got either way, whether it's Blades or Aspinall, he has a legitimate athletic, large, fast heavyweight in front of him, and that's a big test.
It's going to be interesting because I do think stylistically it is one of the toughest matchups that Tom's ever had.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can't take anything away from Sergey Pavlovich, but after seeing Volkov beat Sergey,
right,
it seems a little less scary. He seems less scary. And maybe that's because Tom beat him and knocked him out and it made him a little hesitant and all the rest of it.
Maybe.
There's some truth to that. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But still, seeing Volkov go out there and kind of beat him at his own game over the course of 3 rounds, it makes him seem less scary. When you look at Curtis Blades, knockout power for sure, wrestling ability. Could he stop the takedowns? Probably. Could he get back to his feet? Yes. Could he take Tom down? Probably. Yeah. I think where people kind of underestimate Tom, though, is the punching power. We were all sold on Sergey. He knocked out Sergey. When he beat Marcin Prachnio, it was a 1-2 he hit him with and knocked him flying across the octagon. Mm-hmm. So I think Tom's a better striker, but it's a really, really interesting matchup. I can't wait for that one.
I can't wait for it either. It's a fun fight.
So what are you getting tattooed in Manchester?
I don't know that I'm going to get tattooed. I might, just because it'd be cool to get tattooed there, but I don't have a plan to right now.
You got to get a B.
What's a B?
A B.
Why?
The Manchester Bees.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll get a B. When do you get there?
The Monkey Bees.
When do you get there?
Bees. I fly Sunday. I land Monday.
Okay, maybe I fly Monday and get there Tuesday.
Yeah, no, you'll lose a day travel.
Yeah.
No, the bees like the slogan. The what do you call it? Their mascot, not mascot.
Oh, okay. Like their animal, their thing.
Yeah, that's their thing. Get a bee.
We should go out with the lads.
Get a little bumblebee on you. I think that'd look good because you've got all the toughness and all the samurais and skulls and you know what I mean? Like, you got all that. Mm-hmm. And amongst all that madness, you should juxtaposition it with a cute little bee, some little yellow stripes and some nice eyes and some little wings. I think that'd look badass.
Well, maybe some of the believers will send in some bee drawings. We'll get some suggestions.
Bee tattooed on you, you dickhead. What are you waiting for, Anthony? Call yourself a real man.
Right. You don't have any bees?
Doesn't even have a bumblebee tattooed on him. Right. I think we've bumbled on enough. Brian, do we have any questions this week? If we do, and if you want to send one, please send it into bympod@gmail.com. What was I going to say? Oh, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, please. Subscribe. If you're watching this, press subscribe. If you're listening to this on Spotify, whatever, press subscribe. If you're somehow overhearing this while walking down the street and you're hearing this bit precisely, go on your phone, search Believe You Me on YouTube and press subscribe and send your video question into bympod@gmail.com.
I mean, you just did the whole thing for me. But if you're listening to iTunes, Spotify, wherever you find podcasts, make sure you subscribe. Leave us a 5-star rating. Positive review really helps on those platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to the channel and you hit that notification bell to find out whenever a new video drops in. If you want to catch over 500 episodes you can't find anywhere else, completely ad-free and totally uncensored, head to gasdigital.com. Use the promo code BYM to get 20% off.
All right, we have one question here today that is playable, and this one is from Richard from England. This is actually pretty interesting.
Hey guys, my name's Richard Fisher. Mike, I don't know if you remember me, but I got you to sign my leg so I could tattoo it on myself. I still welcome the rest of the BYM crew. Signatures, by the way, all of you. But currently, me and my girlfriend are cycling across UK, going from the northernmost city to the southernmost city. But I thought I'd just stop at that and ask you a question. I think the world's getting a little bit softer, but I think there's a rise in combat sports. Do you think they'll sort of collide and make them sort of like even out, or do you think the now generation will always want it better for the next generation? Love the podcast. Take care.
Cheers, mate. So I think he's going from Land's End, John O'Groats to Land's End. That would be
far
from
is that? That's far.
It's pretty far, but we're not the biggest country.
Yeah.
So he's going from the tip of Scotland, I think, all the way down to Land's End, the most southern part of England, Cornwall. Beautiful place, beautiful place. What was his question? Because the combat sports is getting bigger and bigger and more people are wanting to fight. Does that basically mean that this generation is not as soft as what we thought? Is that what he's saying, Brian? Because you thought it was a good question. You've obviously watched it once or twice.
Well, he was wondering if... He's like, because the world is getting softer, but the popularity of combat sports is rising. So do you think that the popularity in combat sports is going to bring an equilibrium to the universe?
No.
I don't think so.
No. It's a nice bit of escapism away from all the pussyfooting.
Mm-hmm. It is. I think it's... No, I don't think that there's any real overlap there. I think it's just... people found something that they like to watch. I don't think it makes you any less weak for watching it. Now, if there's more people doing it, like little kids, and instead of playing football or basketball as little kids, they're doing mixed martial arts, then maybe. But I don't think watching it is going to make anybody tougher.
The pussyfooting, it's an issue.
It's a big issue.
It's an issue. Like everything, you're pussyfooting around everything. Everything. Talk to me like growing up. If something went wrong, it was just like, suck it up, get on with it, get up, stop being a bitch or whatever. And listen, I'm all for people being taken care of, and I'm all for people being gentle and nice and caring. But also sometimes you just got to suck it up a little bit. I mean, your kids play a lot of volleyball. Mm-hmm. Do they get pussyfooted about? That's a bad term. Talking about your daughters. Do they get mollycoddled?
No, not at all. But it's like mine don't. But a lot is like my kid just played at the national volleyball tournament just a few weeks ago in Dallas, and so like their team is good. They finished top 16 in the whole country. They're good, but my kid is not treated like that. But are there kids on these teams that are treated? For sure, that can't handle losing. They can't handle adversity. They fall apart. That's the biggest problem I see amongst a lot of these teams. Actually, Steph Curry was there too, because his kid was playing in the same tournament. But like watching these kids have some adversity in these big moments in these big tournaments and fall apart the way that they do, and then not be able to recover, it kind of proves that point. Like I remember like watching, I don't know, like when I was growing up, like I just feel like we were mentally tougher. Like you ran into some tough stuff and you just pushed through it. But like my kid doesn't really have too many problems with that because she's used to having to be tough. And a lot of these kids just aren't. They're just not used to, they don't know what to do when things get hard because they're like in that kind of a scenario, like in a sports situation where your parents can't come out and save you or fix it for you or tell you you're great or whatever it is. They're stuck out there on the court by themselves and they have to figure it out and they can't. And I've always forced my kids to like, you got to figure it out. Like things get hard. Life is tough. You have to push through this. I can't fix everything for you.
Yeah. It's a tricky one because as we become more developed as a species, as we learn more about the mind and we learn more about mental health, then obviously we know that positive reinforcement and stuff like that is good for people. When we learn about the mind and the psychology of children and what they go through, they need to be told good things, you know what I mean? But and I think that's just maybe just gone a bit too far. Obviously now you've got new teachers, you've got young teachers graduating university, pushing all kinds of bullshit woke agendas to children and whatnot, which is crazy, right? Sometimes, sorry, what I was going to say was, I think though, it's not as bad as what we think, because I think we're just seeing little snippets. Yes, for children now, it's hard because of social media. You know, and they compare themselves to other people. But you would be a fool to do that. But children are children, right? That just says it all. That doesn't mean they're an idiot. They don't understand that they're just seeing the best snippets out of people's lives. They're children. They don't understand. They think that's the way people are living all the time. But I think in general, I mean, I don't know what it's like where you're from, but I know where I'm from. Life hasn't changed for most people. It's not like people are getting wrapped up in cotton wool. People are still living their same old lives. Yeah, okay, granted, certain standards have changed and stuff like that, but life's just as tough. The people are just the same kind of mentality. The sense of humor is exactly the same. They're not all sensitive little, you know, little, what's the word I'm looking for? Nancy's, not what's the word? Sissies. There you go. They're all sensitive little sissies. You know what I mean? They're not. They're just like normal, regular people still getting on with it. So this whole theory that the world's going really, really soft, I think that's a little bit over exaggerated. Yeah, life's hard. Life's hard. I don't think it's going soft.
I think all this shit, I think it not as bad as maybe we're making it seem. I think maybe a little bit, but I think some of it, like you brought up social media, I think we just see it more. I think that before everything wasn't as visible. I think all this shit's been happening. I think down to the you know, when we get in these phases where there's a lot of like highlighting of police brutality and like all these different murders and all these bad things happening, this shit's been happening. It's just we all see it now because we have access to the entire world in our hands. So we see more of it.
Yeah, and it's because the algorithm shows you that. And I know we've said this before, but you're right. If you watch something online, that algorithm is going to show you more of it because you engaged with it. For example, here's what I'm getting a lot of. If I go on Instagram right now, I'm going to try. It's going to show it. So my brother-in-law sent me a video of Tito Ortiz saying the dumbest shit.
That's all I see.
So now my algorithm is just sending me, and some of them are hilarious. Now I'm gonna.
My best friend does the same shit. He sends me Tito videos.
15 years is 2 decades. As long as my body lets me, but in my mind, I want to meet that 15-year criteria. 15 years is 2 decades.
See, I told you, that's all it keeps showing me. It keeps showing me Tito Ortiz, and Dana always comments on the top. He goes, "My boy, it's hilarious."
My boy.
So yeah, exactly. So anyway, going back to what we were saying, if you're watching these videos of brutality or, you know, people getting murdered or racial attacks, racially motivated attacks, they're just going to show you more and more and more. I don't think it's really that bad. Anyway, Anthony, good to have you back, buddy.
It was good to be back, Mike. It was good to be back. I always feel a lot better after we get to hang out a little bit. And I don't know, we just navigate through it and talk through it.
Yeah.
Well,
don't worry. Don't worry. I can see your wife. Well, I don't know. I can see it, but I can see you.
No, she just, like my kids just came barreling in here.
They're like, are you still going on? Are you still on?
They're like, you're
podcast?
Still just running your mouth,
waffling bullshit. Anthony, don't take a short notice fight. Let's head to that.
None. Don't right now. I promise the believers. I promise the believers and you, no more short notice fights.
Don't do it. And you gotta run.
Yep, gotta run.
That's it. All right, boys and girls, take care. See you Thursday.